likewise, man. Likewise. Good to be seen and not viewed, for sure.
There you go. There you go. Well, we didn't have much luck with Facebook, so we'll definitely have some fun with all these amazing people who are joining us right now on Instagram.
Sure enough, man. Sure enough, man. We'll do what we do, man. So let's just get straight into it, man. What are your thoughts on this whole George Floyd thing, man? Your thoughts on it?
This is a tough one. You know, every time, and it shouldn't be every time, this should have stopped a long time ago. Whenever these types of incidents occur, it's one of those things where you think about, okay, what can I do? What can we do? What is going wrong? How did we get here, right? And this one, I think, was difficult because it was the first time where I felt, and tell me what your opinion is, but it was the first time where three things went through my mind. Number one, I'm watching someone's life leaving in front of me. That was a scary, scary thought. Number two, I'm watching someone who I feel is supposed to protect me, my family, my friends, the people of this country, snatching the life out of someone. And the third thing was this thought of it's turned into something so profound, but accepted, that now we're watching these individuals look right at the camera, look at us and say, I can do this, watch me get away with it. And it kind of, if that didn't chill your soul, I don't know what did, man.
Yeah, well, no, it did a whole lot of things, man. Come on, I see you out there now. I appreciate that. See, come on down there. Man, but I mean, it's under a lot of things to me, man. It clearly highlighted the double standard. That double standard is just that. I mean, to me, in my opinion, police can just do what the fuck they want to do. I mean, you know, just kind of like going back to what you were just saying earlier, like just to be so brazen and to be so bold to just jump out there and, you know, and just put your knee in someone's back all casually with your hand in your pocket, right? With both hands in your pocket. You just have your knee in his neck for over 7 minutes. You just don't care. I mean, you clearly just don't care. And see, some of these things I just can't do. I can't do. I mean, because if I do those types of things, my ass is going to fucking prison. I'm going to prison that day. No, fuck that. If I kill someone on camera, kill somebody on fucking camera, me as well as the people that I'm with, the person that's probably holding the camera, like in a situation in Georgia, the person's holding the camera, the person that's holding down the victim, right? In that case, it was 2 other police officers, one holding the legs, the other was holding the waist, and the other one had the knee on his back, and the other one was just standing there just as complicit as anyone else. The reason being is because, I mean, just think about it. You got a duty, the duty to protect and serve, right? Protect. That's the first thing you must do, right? But who the fuck are you protecting? Protecting no one. Absolutely not, man. And so, you know, that's just the biggest thing, because I know, you know, if I, you know, again, kill somebody on camera, if I kill somebody with an eyewitness, not even having a fucking eyewitness, if someone just said Steven L. Washington was the one that did it, they're going to come and fucking get me. I'm not going to go back home. And the reason why I'm not going to go back home is because I'm a fucking danger to the fucking community. I just killed this guy on camera. I might go kill another one. So I need to be locked up, man. So I just don't get it. I mean, clearly the laws need to change. I mean, just like, for instance, like larceny, like stealing from someone. If stealing was legal, and we know, you know, stealing is immoral, but if stealing was legal, more people would do it. Why would more people do it? Well, because it's legal. Well, we know a lot of shit was legal at some point that we know ultimately was fucked up, like slavery. So these people are empowered, right? They're empowered. These police officers, I ain't gonna say all, because I know a lot of really good ones, but I know a lot of fucked up officers too.
But Steve, let me stop you right there, okay? Because this is the argument that keeps coming up, and I feel like I've been caught up in this too, where I'm always like, well, I have friends that are police officers, they're great police officers, and I feel like it's one of those things where you want to be in the situation of, oh, I don't want to say they're all bad and so forth, but let me give you an example of this real quick, all right? If you have 1,000 good cops out there and 10 of them are bad seeds, we're used to saying, well, they're not all bad, right?
True.
Well, hear me out on this. What happens when those 1,000 cops know about this, but they want to protect those 10 because they don't want this to affect their fraternal brotherhood? Steven, you have 1,010 bad cops. Because honestly, if those 1,000 are doing nothing to help out with those 10, they know what's happening. I mean, the fact that you had these people standing around and watching this happen, it was, I mean, it kind of took a piece of your soul, right? Like you're watching it and you're seeing one guy who's saying, don't come anywhere near my guy. You're not coming. If you come anywhere near him, I'm going to tase you. I'm going to pepper spray you. I'm going to make sure that you feel it. And this guy's sitting there with his knee on him. The other guy's asking, can I check his pulse? Can I do? At what point do you realize, hey, this is a bad fucking cop? I can't go back home and say, you know what? I'm a good guy. I don't do this. I didn't have my knee on his throat.
Right.
Fuck that. That argument is gone. And I'm honestly tired of it. If you're a good cop and you know about these bad cops and you see them setting people up and you see them fucking with people, you're a bad fucking cop. You're a bad cop. Now, just because we'll have drinks with them, we'll have laughs with them, we'll hang out with them. All right, you're a friend to me. But we're talking about cops. We're talking about people that are there to protect us, our families, our friends. And if it's more important to you to protect this brotherhood than to protect the people, you don't fall in that cat. You've lost that privilege. That privilege is gone. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. And I totally agree with that, man. And so, I mean, just again to your point, like we always say, man. I just say, man, keep that same energy. You know, I just need those alls. I mean, those alls got to change, man. They need to keep that same energy that they having with us. You know, like in terms of myself. Again, if I go out and I just start killing people, you know, I need y'all to have that same energy that y'all gonna fucking give me. Give the fucking same energy to those guys. I mean, we got to keep the same energy if that's what the fuck we're trying to do, right? I mean, because again, man, these people are emboldened to just do whatever the fuck they want to do, and it's really fucked up and it's clear too. Again, it's the most obvious thing I've ever seen in my life, man. So, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out though, but how the fuck did we get here? How the fuck did we get to the point where we?
I'll tell you how we got here. And this is one of the things that I think a lot of people fail to realize. There's a lot of millennials and you know, younger generations that will never understand what's going on. They think, oh, well, maybe history goes back to Trayvon Martin. Maybe we go back to other incidents of unlawful killings. That's not what happened. Let's go back. Let's take 2 minutes. Let's figure out where this started, right? We go back 1619, so nearly 400 years ago. Slavery, okay? Kidnapping. Legal kidnapping. Okay, start slavery. Then we start going towards Dred Scott. What was that? 1857. Right. Dred Scott, you have a slave that is taken by his master to a free state, okay? From the free state comes back and he decides to sue. It goes all the way up to Supreme Court, suing for his freedom. The fucking Supreme Court at this time says, what are you doing here? You're not even a person.
You don't have standing.
You don't have standing. You're not you're property. You can't do this. You have no constitutional rights. And immediately that person snatched away. Okay. Fast forward, we go to Abraham Lincoln. Let's go ahead. Let's create the emancipation. He knows that I'll create this document to free slaves, but the next racist president that comes in is going to rip this away. Let's create the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is something I think if most Americans read, look at, and just hold close to them, they'll realize this equal protection that we are perpetually talking about, it does not still exist today. But let's go from the 14th Amendment, okay? So that was 1857. I want to say the following year, Stephen, not 10 years, 20 years. It's not like there was time to prepare for this. Right after the 14th Amendment, which is the equal protection. This is equal protection for myself, Stephen, white, black, everyone out there. Equal protection, and it gave citizenship. Stephen, citizenship to these slaves, okay? So now, equal footing. 1 year later, we go and we hit Plessy versus Ferguson. This is the corrupt mind of the racist. Okay, equal protection. You want equal protection? Perfect. We have equal, but I don't want to ride with you. I don't want to be in the same school with you. I don't want to drink from the same fountains as you. I want none of that. So from Plessy v. Ferguson, they create separate but equal, okay? How nice does that sound, separate but equal? It doesn't sound horrific, right? That was fucked up. I don't think people understand how bad it was. Those Jim Crow laws really messed people up. Because, Stephen, you're going to go to a bullshit school, while my friends over here are going to beautiful, plush schools with the right types of classrooms and teachers and so forth, okay? All right, so we've started there. Now let's go over to 1908, which is a time that a lot of people don't speak about. 1908 was that period of time where, because of frustration, similar to what's happening now, I want you to compare 1908 to right now. There was a lot of frustration because of housing and employment. lack of resources. And so what happened was you had Caucasians, white people, that decided, let's take out frustration. They started hanging, lynching African Americans, blacks, to take out their frustration, okay? The year following that, the NAACP. The fact that we have the NAACP is a joke, okay? It should not have to be around. We had the 14th Amendment. This was a part of our Constitution. So the NAACP is created to go ahead and enforce the 14th Amendment. Well, what are the police doing? What's the Supreme Court doing? What are the National Guard? What are all these entities that we have doing if we have to create the NAACP in order to go ahead and protect the 14th, 15th Amendment? Fast forward again. Let's go to 1954, I think. I may be off on this one a little bit. We have Brown versus Board of Education, okay? Brown versus Board of Education arguably was one of the biggest movements because it got rid of this bullshit Jim Crow laws, and it started saying, hey, it's not equal. It's completely unequal. You have set the stage so far. So once again, blacks will fail. They will fail at education. They will fail at owning properties. They will fail at everything. You have literally set this up to keep failing. So for the first time, Steven, you get to go to a school with a person of a different color and in a good school, okay? We start going through that. Steven, is that where everything ends? Is everything good after that?
Of course not, man. Continues
1 year after, if we look at it, you look at Emmett Till, okay? I don't know if you remember Emmett Till. Emmett Till was the 14-year-old boy. He used to live in Chicago, went to visit his family, I think in Mississippi or Missouri, one of these places, okay? Goes through a grocery store. This is a 14-year-old kid. This isn't an adult, a kid. Walks through the grocery store, checking out cashier. Cashier is a white lady. She claims that Emmett winked at her, literally winked at her. Kid goes home, sleeping in the middle of his night at his family's house. It wasn't his parents. It was like his aunt, uncle, someone like that. In the middle of the night, this lady, her husband and brother-in-law break into the house, grab Emmett, take him outside. When I'm telling you a story, I want you to think about someone that's 14 years old. I need you to think about that. They beat this guy until he was nearly dead, and then they started shooting away at him, and they threw him into the river. Right after they did that, the mother had an open casket to show people, hey, is this what's happening? We've had Brown versus Board. Every time that you've told us we have a celebration, every time that you say things are getting better, every time that you say, hey, this is something to celebrate, a year later something happens, okay? So anyways, what happened to those two guys? Did they go to jail? Did they have death sentences? No. 1 hour, and they were acquitted. And the first thing they did was they went to the magazines. I forget the magazine they went. It was like Look Magazine or something like that. Right. And they told them how they killed this kid. Because now you're acquitted. There's no double jeopardy. Let me tell you how I killed this little black kid. Okay? They go ahead. They kill this kid like it's nothing. The mom holds his funeral. From that point on, and I'm skipping over smaller cases that are very important. I don't want you to feel like I'm skipping over important.
But let me back you up for a second. It wasn't a wink, it was a whistle. He whistled, and I believe he had like some type of like speech impediment or something to that degree. So like when he spoke, it appeared as if he was whistling, but he really wasn't. It was just that speech impediment that he had. But yeah, no, I just wanted to.
Yeah, so even worse. And I heard stuff afterwards about the lady confessing before she died. That never happened. She had made this up.
Right.
Horrific.
Right.
Okay?
I saw that. I definitely saw that.
And so we go to the last stage, which isn't that long ago, 1991, with Rodney King. Okay, I want you to think about it, Steven. This is the thing that people are screaming about. This is the thing that people are furious about. 1991, Rodney King is driving. Okay, he's speeding away. He's in a chase, whatever it may be. Police get him out, get the baton, start beating him up. They start tasing him. Okay, the problem with 1991 was, for the first time, someone had a video camera.
Right.
The first time. We missed the lynchings. We missed the shootings. We missed the killings. We missed the brutality on the streets. We missed all of these disgusting acts. But 91, we caught him. Okay. Right. And right as that happened, the police officers were to be tried. Did anything happen? Nothing. And at that time, that was when the burning started, because it was like the suffocation of, don't tell me things are getting better. Don't try and feed us this shit that we've had another win that that there's some new law that's created that's protecting us enough. And the reason of the fear is it's our children that are being killed, our wives, our husbands, our family members. And on top of that, police are using resisting arrest and all these other terms to go ahead and show that something else happened. That video went viral. And since then, we've started seeing, it's not that this is happening more. I think the murders and killings are happening less, but we're seeing it more than before. The problem is that now, right now, today, it's no longer okay, we killed him. We didn't know anyone was videoing. Had we known, that would have stopped. This guy, he stared in the camera. I watched this video 3 times, and I kept telling myself, he must be looking somewhere else, something else. He literally looked in the camera and said, watch, I'm going to completely get away with this. It's just.
So, but what do you think about, like, in terms of, like, the degrees of murder, man? I mean, obviously we got the first degree being the most sexiest of all, because everybody wants to see the fucking needle get shoved in somebody's fucking arm. Everybody loves that. Right. You also got the second degree and the third, but why can't that be first degree though? I mean, like, just tell me, like, your argument in terms of why couldn't that be first degree. I'll tell you why. I feel like, you know, if I was a prosecutor, I feel like I can get the second. I know I can get the second, but Steve, tell me why you feel like, you know, that one won't work.
You're a hell of an attorney. I'm confident that you'd be able to get the second. I'm going to go through this, and there's always some disagreement, and I love having these disagreements with you because they're so productive. First degree, I need to actually look at this person and have the ability to think, I'm going to kill this person. I have to have the mens rea, the motive to actually say, I'm going to kill this person, okay? That is the one that you say is sexiest because you can get the death penalty for that. Here's the thing we've got to convince people. Here's what we have to convince them. Stop fucking going for the first. In my opinion, this is my opinion, and I know we differ on this a little bit. Here's the issue. Everyone's up in arms. First degree murder. We saw him. He said this. He said this. Da, da, da. Here's the problem with it. The prosecutor wants you to keep asking for first degree. You know why? Because the prosecutor who's close with the police officers and everyone else wants to say, hey, you want first degree? I'll try him for first degree. Because the standard is right up here. It's right here, okay? And they know, even though I can get here, they're going to get away. You need one person to say, I don't know, maybe he didn't intend to kill that person, okay?
Well, yeah, that too, and also like the premeditation component of it as well.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
yeah.
Although it don't take long. It don't take very long to, you know, to form that premeditation.
Right.
Have that premeditation because it can happen, you know,
right.
quickly, but everybody wants it. And just like you said, just to your point, I mean, just one person will say, hey, I don't think that you're paying to do this.
I don't know. And the moment that they say that,
yes,
it's a win. It is a win. The moment that you see someone being tried for first degree, you're done. It's a trick. It's a way to convince people to celebrate. Remember how we just talked about all the celebrations? Oh, we've got, you know, all these cases, the 14th and it's a fucking game. If you don't see that, you have to start researching. It's a game. First degree, you better make sure that police spot someone, stalks them, go after, knows, and kills them. Here's the reason why I like third. This was when I saw third degree, I was excited about it. And the reason for it is the threshold is low. It's low, okay? And here's the thing. It's low, and in addition to that, the big thing is you convict him on that. You're right here. Steven, you want to get right here, second degree, and I feel you can. But third is right here. Get him for third. The reason why I say this, do you know what happens to that police officer if he gets convicted and spends 1 week in jail, 1 month in jail, 1 year in jail? He'll get fucking justice, okay? Now, the key with third is you can get up to 25 years. And the judges, I feel the judges are going to look at this and say, all right, you kept your knee on this guy's throat for 3 minutes after he was dead? After he was dead? And it doesn't make sense. Listen, you want to go after first when you know you can win. Don't go after someone when there's a possibility. If there's a 1% chance that you're going to lose on it, don't go after him on that. Who cares what it's called? If he gets 25 years in jail or 20 years in jail, that's a victory. Here's the reason why that's a victory. Because the next police officer that tries to do some shit like that is going to think, hey, they're not going to charge me on first. They're going to go for the lesser offense. And when they go for the lesser offense, I'm actually going to jail. I'm going to be placed in jail with the people that I've done this fucked up shit to. And there's going to be a lot of people in jail who have experienced this type of racism too, right? So, but tell us,
Right.
Steve, tell us your second degree, because I know that you could mop the floor with it.
For sure. I mean, so, I mean, of course, you know, at some point he's going to have to go to general population. People were saying, well, you know, he's going to be in segregation. Like at some point, they're just going to have to go, you know, release him to the hounds. They're not going to segregate it the entire time. But I mean, my thing is like with respect to the second degree, obviously like no premeditation. Of course, somebody just alluded to earlier that they were fucking him up inside of that police car. Like, I mean, they were beating his ass inside of that squad car. Right. And then so shortly thereafter, you know, he was you know, placed in cuffs. Well, excuse me, placed in cuffs then. Right. They put him on the ground and everything else transpired from there. See, the thing is, and if I read correctly, and this is the complaint, the criminal complaint.
Sure.
I know that there has been like a huge shortage of toilet paper, but that's exactly what the fuck this is. This is toilet paper. You can wipe your ass with this. I mean, this is absolutely bullshit. But nevertheless, in his training, they said that, you know, that's an inherently dangerous thing to do when somebody's in that prone position. That is placing your knee on the back of someone's neck. So with that said, it's like you knew, right? He knew, he had knowledge. He knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. And then furthermore, after that, what he did was he, after he died, after, you know, there was no longer a pulse detected. Let me see here. It said 2 minutes and 53 seconds. He still had his knee on his neck. Now, I'm going to go out there and say you can look at his conduct prior to, and you can also look at his conduct after, you know, they could not detect any type of pulse. So, I mean, he knew because, you know, that's a very dangerous thing to do. That is placing your knee on someone's neck, and you're instructed, you're trained. All of those motherfuckers were trained, right? Not just him, the other two that was holding him down, and the other fucking idiot that just stood there trying to kick people back and the like. So, you know, we'll get into that a bit later. But nevertheless, they all knew that that was a very fucked up tactic that they do not employ because they specifically said that in that damn criminal complaint. So therefore, you know, I mean, that was some reckless ass conduct. That's very reckless because you knew through your training that, listen, if I do this, this person can possibly die because it's inherently dangerous.
Right.
So you knew. So you knew. I mean, satisfying that requirement of recklessness, man. So, I mean, I really think you can get the second. I mean, I agree with you. The third is the slam dunk.
Right.
But the second can be, you know, you can definitely get the second. So
yeah, it's dancing. I feel like you could. I feel like you could. For me, I want for people to go for the lesser. Okay. Here's the reason why. I want to see more of them go to jail. I don't want to just have empty threats now. Send them to jail, you know, start going for the lower ones. And, you know, every part of this is horrifying. And the thing is, I don't think that things have gotten as bad yet until we see the webcams. I mean, the live cams that they had on them. Okay.
Well, so, you want more fucking cameras? I mean, how many more angles do you need?
So with
how many angles do you need?
Yeah, no, I agree. Here's the thing. So we don't have the audio and we don't have the police cameras that they had on them. Okay. Right. I'm curious to see because there were multiple points in the complaint where it stated the police officer said, hey, maybe we should turn him. This is the other thing I want people to understand.
I thought it too, yes. Right.
Yeah. Here's the thing I want people to understand. When a police officer is being tried, they're not being tried like Ricky Patel and Stephen Washington. They are being tried. What would a reasonably prudent police officer do? Was that police officer, when he shot, is it because he feared because of being a police officer? Here's the reason why he's in trouble. In that complaint, it specifically says by the other person that was with him, hey, we should probably turn him over. Hey, we should probably move him. Hey, we should take his pulse. When you start saying that, you can no longer go ahead and say, well, as a police officer, you don't know what we're going through. That's bullshit again. That whole, as a police officer, you don't know what we're going through, it doesn't work. Okay? Because you have other police officers that say that.
He knew that was fucked up. Hey, do you think we should turn him over on the side? And the defendant, what's his name? He indicated, he said, well, no, man, no, I'm worried about excited delirium. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about excited delirium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm worried about right now. So we're going to go ahead and just keep him there. And then even after no fucking pulse was detected, he still stayed there. And they asked him what to do with him. So, I mean, like, you got fucked up behavior all across the table.
It was a horror story. And you know, this isn't something new. We've both experienced this in cases that we've had, and you'll see the stuff that people do, not just to get away on the streets, but once it gets to the courthouse, it's like the WWF from back in days. It's like, all right, you're in, go ahead, now you take care of this. You
Right.
know?
Well, I mean, you had some fucked up ass cases at some point too, man. We represented Dalvin Cook. You didn't really bring that out, man. You didn't really, throw that out there earlier, man. That prosecutor did that real fucked up shit, man. What exactly happened that day?
Dalvin Cook's case was an interesting case. So, you know, when I worked on that case, the big thing was we wanted to get the win. And here's the issue with it is after we won the case with Dalvin, I took a step back because I didn't want that cloud to be over his head. He didn't deserve to be tried for that case, let alone for this, this negative cloud to follow him. So we never spoke about it until about a week ago when we were discussing this, and I started finding all the news articles about how bad the case was. So I'll talk to you firsthand about what we dealt with. So the state attorney, Willie Meggs, was the guy for 30 years that his job was to go after African Americans in whichever capacity he could, and it was like a stripe of honor for him. So in the beginning, we find out that Dalvin Cook, and for anyone that doesn't know what this is, Dalvin Cook is an incredible football player, a gentleman, just a kind soul. While he was in college and he was up for the Heisman, he was accused of beating a woman. And anyone that knows me knows I would never touch a case in a mile if that were accurate. I spoke with him. We found out 100% that he was not involved in that. However, when you turn the TV on, you have the state attorney on there saying, I spoke with the victims. He definitely did it. Okay, so court of public opinion. You've spread the message out there. You've tainted the fucking jury from the get-go, okay? What he was doing was he was looking at the camera to us and saying, if you want to do this, watch what we do, okay? First. Second, a police lineup, for those people who are looking, okay? A police lineup would be, we've got, the person that attacked you looked like what? Oh, he was a Florida State football player, and he had what? What type of hair? Oh, dreads? Okay. So here's a social media page of Dalvin Cook. I'm not making this up. This is what happened. Here's Dalvin Cook's social media page. Oh, look at all these pictures. Look at all these pictures. So it was the girl and her dad that are looking at social media. Okay, now, here are 6 people. Can you point out which one was the one that attacked you? And out of the 6 people, he was the only one that had dreadlocks holding a fucking football. He's holding a football in the picture with these dreads. This is after they showed him the social media, okay? So suggestive lineup. It's completely unconstitutional, okay? So strike 2. Number 3, the police are following Dalvin around. They know that he's represented. They would still go and try to speak with him. In the beginning, I didn't believe it. I didn't know if it was just, cops just driving around Tallahassee and making sure that that the football player is okay. It got to the point where I landed, and I remember speaking with Arti on the phone, and I was like, these cops are following me. And I remember being on FaceTime and showing her, and they knew when I landed in Tallahassee, they followed me. They followed me when I got over to Dalvin's place. So now they've got a trail going on. Remember, this was a misdemeanor at best. So they've got their top guys trailing us. All right, forget that. Then we go for
a fucking misdemeanor?
For a misdemeanor. They put their felony murder division on it, okay? And this
felony murder?
This is all over the news. All of this stuff is all over the news. So we go from this. Imagine going to voir dire. And guys, when you're about to have a trial, you have a group of people, and in order to have your peers represented, both sides have the opportunity to ask questions and make sure that we have a jury that is fair and impartial, okay? So imagine after, I think I spent about 3 hours up there getting to know the group, I'd say the last 15 minutes, and the whole courtroom is filled with media. The last 15 minutes, this lady, I don't know why I even asked, but she said that she knew someone, and so I was like, oh, well, do you know anyone on this panel? No. Well, do you know any of the people involved in the case? Kind of. Okay. What the fuck is kind of? Okay, so kind of. Who do you know? I know Willie Meggs. Oh, shit. This lady knows Willie Meggs. Automatically, this is going to be bad. Well, okay. How do you know Willie Meggs? He's a family member. Willie Meggs is a family member, and you're telling us this now? Okay, well, how is he related? He's my dad. Man, get the fuck out of here. Willie Meggs is your dad? He's your dad? Before we got to use our constitutional right to have her stricken, the Judge Atkins says, okay, you're free to leave. Free to leave. Get out of here. This is not a movie. This is not, if you look at the news, you'll see this. So we go from that, then we have the key witness to the whole case, this guy who claims that he saw everything happening. We eventually go get him under sworn statement to admit that this whole thing was a setup. Okay? He flips, he's now our star witness for the trial. The morning off, I go to get him ready. Guess what? He's gone. They arrested him for loitering. Okay? So now we go in front of the judge, and once again, you can look up all the stuff. We go in front of the judge, and we're telling him, we need this guy here. We're basing a decent amount of our case around this guy explaining every detail that happened that matches what all of our guys are saying. And so the happy median that they were able to get to was, well, that was their witness, so they're not allowed to discuss anything he said. So they're not allowed to explain the statements that he made to police. We'll take all that off, and neither are you.
What? All this fraud, misdemeanor. This is a lie, dog.
It gets worse than that. So then, imagine we're about to start, and the prosecutors show documentation, printed documents off a Twitter account that has Dalvin saying, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done this." Now, I'm freaking out because I'm like, why would he have said this? Like, what would have made? And so I spoke with him, and he's like, "That wasn't my account. Here's my account." His account was like DC4 or something. This was Dalvin Cook, FSU. And so we go in front of the judge. We have our office looking it up. We trace it back and find out that the state attorney's office created a fake Twitter account. And here's the thing. This isn't a conspiracy, guys. The judge sanctioned the state of Florida. You will find this. They sanctioned them for creating a fake fucking Twitter account to go ahead. This is how bad they wanted this guy, okay? The case I'm dealing with all these issues with, remember when Michael Vick and all these things were happening? They went ahead and had someone put a picture up of Dalvin Cook's house with 3 puppies that were outside in the rain, and they called and stated that there was animal cruelty and abuse. They released that in the articles the day before. We get over there and we find out what happened was one of his friends that was having an emergency left his puppies outside Dalvin's house in the yard, and it was raining and someone took a picture. So they're trying to portray him. But the last thing before we get too far into this case, everyone cared about this case. I had the most racist comments. You can still find some of them on there.
Oh yeah,
the most you remember this, right, Steve? I was telling you, and it was and to me, I was like, I don't know how I can get a fair trial if I have so many racist people that are going against me on this. Do you know how I stopped it? I remember the New York Times. I had all these numbers of all the media outlets that we would get in touch with about giving updates, and I called the New York Times, and this was a point where I was just frustrated, and I was like, there's 2 things I want you to know. Number 1, my client Dalvin Cook did not touch that woman. Number 2, she was black. Fucking crickets. Crickets.
Oh, because they thought she was a white girl.
Everyone thought she was white. And so all these crazy people that were coming after us with all this racial stuff were just like, oh, she's black.
Oh,
right,
shit.
You guys handle that shit. We're done. We're done. And we single-handedly, Steve, moved it back. And we had some neutrality. And we won that case, 10 hours of trial. And we won it. But the fact of the matter is, I shouldn't have been handling that case. He shouldn't have been in that position. I still believe that it still affected him. But we're looking at this firsthand. This isn't, we're watching a TV and some shit's happening. Guys, if this happened on a case like this, where the world, those 250,000 people that watched that case, I mean, you had media everywhere, Twitter, all this stuff was going on. And the fact of the matter is, they did this while everyone was watching. Steve, if they're doing this while everyone's watching, if they're doing this while people are videotaping and they have their knee on someone's neck, what is happening when there's no cameras, when that person is by themselves? If that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what does, you know?
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers. That shit is, that's fucking crazy, man.
It's crazy. And Steve, I know that you had some pretty crazy cases too. I want people to hear this from us so they realize this isn't the movies. This is happening real life.
Well, I mean, I guess the only one that really just come to mind was I had an attempted murder on a police officer. That carries the death penalty. My client, he's actually a white guy. Yeah, he's a white guy. He was accused of climbing on top of a roof and throwing a Molotov cocktail on a police car. And you know, the only reason why I brought that out, man, because that was like more comparable, like in terms of, you know, a lot of people said, you know, a lot of people told me, they said, well, Steve, like you're really reaching, you know, like in terms of trying to have these officers charged in the George Floyd case, you know, because it takes time for the investigation. I'm like, well, first of all, shut the fuck up, because y'all don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know, and the reason why I'm saying is because, like, my client that night, man, that night that he was accused of throwing that Molotov cocktail on that police car and the fucking car catching on fire and all this other shit, there was only one witness who later proved to not be very credible at all. She indicated, like, yeah, it was a white guy. It was a white guy wearing, you know, blonde, scruffy dreads, but he had his hood on. So I'm trying to figure out, like, well, how the fuck could you see some dreads at fucking 2 o'clock at night? You know, excuse me, 2 o'clock in the morning, and the guy's wearing a hood. I mean, obviously, this didn't make any sense at all. But nevertheless, they picked my client up that night, and they did not stop fucking investigating once he went into custody. They continued to fucking investigate, but they felt that my guy was a fucking danger to the community, and so by virtue of that, they went on and locked his ass up. Now, I mean, ultimately, you know, I beat the attempted murder on a fucking police officer. I mean, because that carries a fucking death penalty. Probably one of the more serious cases I've ever had. But I mean, nevertheless, man, you know, I'm not buying into that notion that, listen, yeah, I know you just saw me just kill a motherfucker on camera. I know all of you motherfuckers saw me do it, but I'm still going home. I'm going to the crib. And in fact, we got 3 different fucking angles. But they need to fucking continue their investigation. Clearly, they don't know whether or not this is me or not, right? I mean, I guess not. I don't know. Maybe they need like more fucking camera angles. Who knows? But nevertheless, they would send my ass home. You know, excuse me. I would go to fucking jail. Well, jail would be my new home. And, you know, it's the same thing that they did with my guy, right? They felt like, hey, look, he a fucking danger. He out here trying to kill police officers. And that's some serious shit. You know, so they got his ass the fuck up out of there that night. I mean, I'm going to tell you that straight the fuck up. That's exactly what happened on that one.
Quick. And here we have, I don't know, was it 75 police officers created security as if this were the president of the United States? Who are they protecting here? What is going on?
That shit was next level. And on top of that, the motherfucker was fired. Like, he was no longer employed. So at that point, they just surround his house. I mean, you'd have thought, like, the fucking Queen of England was inside.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah. It's bad. And the last thing, and I'm glad and I appreciate you focusing so much on this topic, because it seems the last few days everyone's focusing on looting and the riots and so forth. And there's so many people that are they're using the word disgusting with the looting and riots. And typically, Ricky Patel at this point would put up some disclaimer stating, it's not right. I don't encourage this behavior. You shouldn't. I'm done with that. I'm finished with that. Let's go through this, okay? People are tired. People are upset. People are furious. It goes back to what I was saying from 1619, okay? Now let's go through this right now. Protesting. It's the haves versus the have-nots, okay? The people who are suffering and the people who are watching. The people who are not suffering are saying, hey, that's not right that you do that. You shouldn't do that. Let's go through a couple of these scenarios. Colin Kaepernick, when he put a knee down, you talk about the most beautiful version of the First Amendment of our Constitution. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not doing anything to destroy lives or anything else. I literally just want to be here during this, and I want to be on one knee. The country goes nuts. How fucking dare he do that? That's not right. That's disgusting. Okay, all right. Well, that was disgusting. Okay, no more knees. Okay, all right. Let's go back a little bit. Remember when Martin Luther King during Selma, he went and he brought children to the protest, and people were up in arms. How dare you? This is not right. You should not be doing this. Once again, this was the haves. Right. The people that don't have to worry. How dare you do that? You should be able to march. Apartheid in South Africa, when people were marching the streets. How dare you march out there? Then you start talking about people that are saying, okay, we just saw in 1991, Rodney King being beat and no one is doing anything. We're going to riot because we are tired. We are done. There is no equal protection. The equal protection is one side. It's still separate but equal. You're still protecting the cops before protecting us. And so what happens? They start burning down buildings. And I believe it was like 50 something people died during that time. There was a lot of burnings. So now when people are saying, how dare you burn Target down? Man, fuck Target.
Yeah,
are you fucking kidding me? Target? This guy's life, along with God knows how many people have been looted, have been taken away, have been killed by the people that we are paying to protect. We are paying them to protect us. And people are worried about Target. You cannot say to someone how to protest and how not to protest. The whole purpose is you are protesting against what is going on. Okay?
Right.
So this whole thing of the haves that are saying, okay, it's not going to affect my family. My family's fine. And I hope they don't burn the Whole Foods down the street so I can't go get my salad and kale, whatever it is. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. And that's what's happening. You want to stop people from doing this? Then fucking start getting some equality for everyone. Because honestly, I don't want a time, like myself, my wife spoke with my 2 daughters this morning, and we're talking about this, choked up, thinking about, why am I telling these 2 girls who don't need to hear about this? They need to have a good life. Why am I talking to them about shit that happens outside? And it's because people are not going to make change. And we've got to keep having these discussions. That's why I appreciate you so much for doing this, so that we can have these discussions and explain the whole premise to people, not just what they're seeing on the news.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. Yes, sir. I echo that same sentiment. Yeah, fuck Target. I mean, they got fucking insurance in the goddamn way. I mean, they gonna get that shit back. Well, fuck Target. I see a lot of people were asking quite a few questions here, though.
Yeah.
Man. I guess we can entertain a couple of those. Man.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go through some of the questions.
Let me see.
Someone said, but what if I worked there? I'm really sorry. They can't get their green tea and lavender. I agree with that. Well, I heard property damage is less than human life. So let me tell you, thank you for saying that. It's so true, but people are concerned about the way that their life flows. Don't mess with my Starbucks when I wake up. Don't do this. The reason for it is because they don't have to worry about their child being snatched up and arrested. They don't have to worry about late at night when their child is wearing a hoodie and grabbing Skittles and a drink and being attacked and killed, and then having the system put against them. They don't have to worry about that. So all they worry about is, don't mess with my livelihood, which is the buildings I go to, properties I go through. And the other argument, Steve, we've heard this before. Well, what about black on black crimes? Black people care about that shit. Right. They do. Right. It's not that they're just allowing the shit to happen. They care about it. It's just in your mind, when you see this, you think it's okay. And this is, under policing and over policing. We can go in that argument too of why this is happening. Anytime, just like Dalvin saying, oh, it's a black woman, fuck it, we're done. There's this double standard like we started off with, But you're right. Property, should we be burning buildings? No. But the reason it's happening is because 400 years of nonsense, and it still hasn't stopped.
I agree, man. Yeah, and it's just frustrating. And yeah, I mean, just to circle that back, man. And once you told those people that the complaining witness, I'm not even gonna use victim, I'll say complaining witness. Once they found out that she was black, man, they just even give a fuck no more. Damn, that's just next level, man. That's just next level, brother. That's really next level shit, man.
And but
and another thing, I mean, just to your point, man. Other people just don't get it. They don't get it until it's them. Like once you're affected by it. And somebody stated earlier, man, it sounds like A Time to Kill. And actually, I love that movie. Matthew McConaughey being one of my favorite actors. In that movie, doing his closing argument, rather, he said, just close your eyes and just pretend that she was white. And that was the way that he was
huge. Huge.
So, and that's the same thing here. It's the same exact thing here. You just have to, just take it from that perspective. If this was my son, if this is my brother, if this is my father, how the fuck would you feel? Like, how would you feel? You can't tell anybody how to fucking feel if you never fucking been through that. Like, you can never do that. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. People are, they're feeling a little way because they can't get their green tea and the lavenders and all this other good shit. I mean, I'm sorry. It sucks for you. But nevertheless,
and we just had a good question. It's from Cullen. as a black male, and not just as a black male, as a black male and a father now, who has dealt with his share of police harassment, how do I handle that situation when I've done nothing to deserve it beyond staying calm? Now, Cullen, in my opinion, is one of the most sophisticated, good-looking gentlemen out there. And it happens. I was talking to him about this the other day. Here's the issue. If a police officer, and a lot of you aren't going to like this, and I've spoken to high schools about this. If a police officer comes up to you and tells you to show your hands, show your hands. They tell you to put them on the steering wheel, put them on the steering wheel. If they tell you to go inside your house, go inside your house. Whatever it is to de-escalate, try and do it. Then call myself or Steven and we'll handle it. But God, do not do something that will allow them to kill you, because they will get away with that shit. And it's suffocating to think that we have to play that game. Hey, officer, how are you doing? And in your mind, I haven't done anything wrong, so let me go ahead and, oh, is everything okay?
You know what? I just recall this time when I was in North Miami. I was driving home. This is when I was in law school. I was wearing a fucking sweater vest. I don't even wear those shits anymore, but
right.
I was wearing a fucking sweater vest and some loafers, right? I mean, some khakis too, all that other shit. And I get pulled over by the police. Dog, the first fucking thing this fucking dickhead officer does, bro, he pulls a fucking gun out, dog, and points it in my fucking face. I swear to God. So it don't even matter like what the fuck I did prior to that or anything of that nature. Dog, I mean, he just walked up to the car. Hey, here you go. Like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, listen, I put my guy on fucking on FaceTime. I said, bro, I'm about to get fucking shot in the fucking face by a fucking police officer. Like, bro, like, he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, no, he just walked up to the car, man, fucking pointed a gun in my face. I mean, and to that point, I've never had a fucking gun pointed in my goddamn face, bro. I never had that shit happen, bro. Shit, no, it just threw me the fuck off. I mean, it fucked me up. So, I mean, that complying and shit. I mean, I don't even know like where that would have fit into this. Dog, I mean, you fucking put the gun to my fucking face, told me to get the fuck out of the car, and then fucking put me in the back of, he made me stand in the back of my car. So I'm just, I don't know,
man.
Wild.
It's wild.
I don't know.
Look, I think
eating this up, this sweater vest thing.
Yeah, I know, I saw that.
He eat it up, man. But yeah, I don't work for the vest no more.
Yeah. You know, before we get cut off, because they give us an hour, and thank you all for sitting in. I hope that this has been informative. The way to solve this is at home. We've got to start having conversations. I've always said this. You've got to start having conversation. You've got to speak with your kids. You've got to speak with family members. You've got to speak with friends. Stop the racial divide. Start educating each other. You know, let's start trying to find ways to break this ugly divide. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, but we've got to start somewhere. We've got to start showing more love, get rid of the hate. We've got to hold police officers accountable. We've got to make sure that there is no more secret societies where they're hiding each other. You see someone do something, you've got to bring that forward, man. You're destroying other people's lives. Good cop, bad cops. Remember, 1,010 bad cops when they don't respond the right way. So, Steven, I appreciate you, my brother. And
I appreciate you too, man. Appreciate you. I appreciate the time. And guys, if you need toilet paper, if you're running out, make sure you get a copy of this criminal complaint. You know, you can wipe your ass with this. You know, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, blow your nose, whatever. This shit is just worth